Liam stood frozen by the door, his hand still resting on the doorknob. The silence outside was suffocating, thick with the weight of something ominous, something dangerous. Elena's eyes were wide with fear, her body tense as though she could feel the danger closing in. Her voice, barely a whisper, was full of desperation. "They're here," she said, her voice trembling. "They always find me no matter where I go. They can't know you're involved." Liam looked at her, feeling a strange mix of fear and confusion. Who were they? What had Elena gotten herself into? The quiet around them felt like a trap, and every second stretched into an eternity. He couldn't just leave her here, but he didn't know what else to do. "What do we do now?" Liam asked, his voice steady despite the panic he could feel building inside him. Elena's gaze flickered toward the window, and her breath quickened. She was trying to calm herself, but Liam could see it wasn't working. Whatever she was running from, it was closing in. "We can't stay here. It's not safe." "They'll be here any minute," Elena said, her voice shaky. Liam felt his heart racing. The idea of running, of leaving the apartment, felt terrifying. But he knew it was their only option. "Where do we go?" he asked. "Where can we hide?" Elena glanced around the room, her eyes darting nervously. "There's no safe place," she whispered. "Not anymore. But if we stay, we'll be trapped. I'm not letting them hurt you, Liam. I can't let them find you." For the first time, Liam noticed the raw pain in her eyes, the deep fear that seemed to have taken root in her very soul. She wasn't just running from something. She was running for her life. The truth hung in the air, unspoken but clear. This was far more than a simple mistake. Elena was hiding from something powerful, something that had its claws deep in her life. Liam's thoughts raced. "We have to do something," he said. He wasn't sure what he was asking, but he knew they couldn't just wait for whatever was outside to find them. Elena took a deep breath, as if gathering her courage. "You're right," she said. "We have to leave. Now." Without waiting for another word, Elena grabbed her jacket from the couch and turned to him. "We need to get to the old part of town. There's a place there, an old building I know. It's abandoned, hidden away. It's our only chance." Liam didn't hesitate. He knew he had to trust her, even if every instinct in him screamed to stay where it was safe. The danger outside was real. It was as if the air itself had grown heavier with every passing second. They slipped out of the apartment quietly, the hallway dark and silent as they made their way down the stairs. Liam kept looking over his shoulder, half expecting someone to jump out at any moment. But the building seemed empty. The usual sounds of people in the hallways or upstairs were gone, leaving only the sound of their footsteps echoing through the silence. They reached the street, and the cool night air hit them like a wave. The city seemed even quieter now, as if it too were holding its breath. Liam glanced at Elena. She was walking quickly, her face tense, eyes scanning the surroundings every few steps. She wasn't just afraid, she was terrified. As they reached a narrow alleyway, Elena paused. "We have to be careful now," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They'll be looking for us. We can't let them find us here." Liam nodded, feeling his pulse quicken. Whoever they were getting closer, and he could sense that time was running out. As they turned a corner, Elena stopped abruptly, her hand gripping his arm tightly. "Look," she said, pointing to a figure in the distance. Liam squinted, his heart skipping a beat. In the shadows, he saw someone standing still, just out of clear view, but unmistakably there. It was a tall figure, cloaked in darkness, watching them. Liam's throat went dry. "Who is that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Elena's face turned pale. "I don't know," she said, "but I can feel them. The same presence. They're close." Liam felt a cold chill run down his spine. Whoever this was, they were no ordinary person. The figure stepped out of the shadows, moving toward them with purpose. "We need to go," Elena urged, her grip tightening on Liam's arm. "Now." They started walking faster, but the figure was gaining on them. The sound of footsteps echoed in the alley as the stranger followed closely behind. They turned another corner, and suddenly, Elena pulled Liam into a narrow doorway, pressing them both against the wall, hoping to stay out of sight. Liam's breath was shallow. His mind raced. What was happening? Who was this person, and what did they want with Elena? From their hiding spot, they watched as the figure came closer, its face now visible in the dim light. It was a man, tall and lean, with cold eyes that seemed to pierce through them. He didn't speak. He just kept walking in their direction, his eyes locked onto Elena. Elena held her breath, her body trembling slightly. Liam could see the fear in her eyes, and he knew this wasn't just an ordinary encounter. This man wasn't just a stranger. He was part of whatever dark thing Elena was running from. The figure stopped just a few feet away from their hiding spot, as if he knew they were there. He tilted his head as though sensing their presence. For a long moment, the world seemed to stop. Neither Liam nor Elena dared to move. And then the man spoke, his voice low and cold. "You can't run forever, Elena. It's only a matter of time before they find you. And when they do, there's nowhere left to hide." Elena's face went pale, and Liam felt a knot form in his stomach. He didn't understand what was happening, but he could feel the weight of the danger surrounding them. The figure smiled darkly, then turned and walked away, disappearing back into the shadows. Elena let out a shaky breath, her body sagging against the wall. "He's one of them," she whispered. "One of the hunters. They never stop looking for me." Liam's mind was spinning. "Who are these people? What do they want with you?" Elena looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of sorrow and fear. "It's a long story," she said. "A story I never wanted to share. But I don't have a choice anymore." Liam nodded, his heart heavy with the weight of her words. He knew he had to stay with her, to help her, no matter what it took. But as they stood in the dark alley, the air thick with tension, he realized that their journey had only just begun. The shadows were closing in around them, and there was nowhere left to run. Cliffhanger. It was a quiet night in the small town, the kind where the world seemed still, and everything felt as if it were holding its breath. Liam, a young man in his late 20s, lived alone in a modest apartment on the 3rd floor of an old building. His life was simple: work, dinner, a bit of reading, and then sleep. There was nothing special about his existence, nothing extraordinary, just a quiet, solitary routine. Liam had always been a bit of an introvert, preferring the calm of his own company to the chaos of social gatherings. His neighbors, though friendly, didn't know him well. He exchanged smiles and small talk with them in the hallway, but rarely ventured beyond polite conversation. That night, as he lay in his bed, the faint sounds of the outside world filtered in: distant car horns, the chirping of crickets, and the occasional rustle of leaves. It was the perfect kind of night for sleep. But then came the knock. It was soft at first, like a tap on a glass. Liam groggily opened his eyes, unsure if he had imagined it. The knock came again, louder this time. His heart skipped a beat, a strange feeling settling in his chest. Who could it be at this hour? He slipped out of bed, rubbed his eyes, and walked toward the door. Peering through the peephole, he saw nothing but the faint glow of a dimly lit hallway. No one was standing there, but then, just as he was about to turn away, he heard it again. A soft, almost desperate knock, coming from the other side of the door. Liam's pulse quickened. He hesitated for a moment. What was going on? He didn't usually open the door to strangers, especially in the middle of the night. But something about this felt different. A whisper of something urgent in the air, something he couldn't ignore. He unlocked the door and pulled it open, revealing the last person he expected to see, Elena. Elena was his neighbor from across the hall. He knew little about her, except that she kept mostly to herself. She was quiet, with a mysterious air about her. They had exchanged a few words in passing, but nothing that would explain why she was knocking on his door at this hour. Her eyes were wide with fear, her face pale. Her long brown hair was messy, as though she had been running, and she was breathing heavily, as if she had just escaped from something. For a moment they stood there in silence, both unsure of what to say. "Liam," Elena whispered, her voice trembling. "Please don't let me go back alone." Her words sent a chill through him. He wasn't sure what she meant, but it was clear she was terrified. He opened the door wider, stepping aside to let her in. "Of course. You're safe here," he said, his voice softer than he meant it to be. "What happened?" Elena didn't answer immediately. She walked into the apartment, looking over her shoulder as though making sure no one was following her. Then she turned to face him, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and exhaustion. I don't know how to explain this, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. But I'm not safe. Not here, not anywhere. They'll come for me if I go back. Liam furrowed his brow. Who's coming for you? She shook her head, her eyes distant as if she were trying to push away the memories. I can't tell you. It's too dangerous. I just needed to get away. Please don't ask me to go back. Liam stood there for a moment, unsure of what to do. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't the type of person who would normally get involved in someone else's problems. But Elena seemed genuinely frightened, and the raw emotion in her voice made it impossible to turn her away. He led her to the couch and offered her some water. You can stay here tonight. I'll help you however I can. Elena sat down, her hands trembling as she accepted the glass. She looked at him with a mix of gratitude and guilt. I'm sorry for showing up like this. I didn't know where else to go. No need to apologize, Liam said, sitting down across from her. You're safe here, just take a deep breath. I'm sure everything will make sense soon. She nodded, but Liam could tell she wasn't sure if it would. Her eyes darted around the apartment, as if she were expecting someone to burst through the door at any moment. The tension in the room was thick, and neither of them spoke for a long time. The only sound was the soft ticking of a clock on the wall. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Elena looked up at Liam. I don't know why I came to you, she said, her voice quieter now. Maybe because I don't have anyone else. Liam blinked, surprised by her confession. You don't have anyone else? She shook her head. Not really. My family. They're not around anymore, and I've kept to myself for so long. But now I feel like something's hunting me. Something I can't escape. Liam's heart ached for her. He didn't understand what she was going through, but he could see the fear in her eyes. It was real. Whatever she was running from was real. You don't have to go back, Liam said, trying to reassure her. You're safe here. But as he spoke, a faint sound interrupted them, a rustling noise coming from outside the apartment. It was soft at first, barely noticeable, but then it grew louder, as if someone or something was moving just outside the door. The hair on the back of Liam's neck stood up. He glanced at Elena, who had gone deathly pale. She stood up suddenly, her eyes wide with panic. They found me, she whispered, her voice breaking. Liam turned to the door, his mind racing. He had no idea what was going on, but Elena's fear was contagious. He couldn't just stand there. Elena, who's out there? He asked, his voice low. I don't know, she stammered, her hands shaking. They're always watching me. Always. Just as he was about to open the door to investigate, the sound of footsteps grew louder, closer. Liam's heart raced as he reached for the handle, but before he could act, the door suddenly rattled as if someone was pushing against it from the other side. Elena gasped. Don't open it! Please don't let them in! The panic in her voice was enough to freeze Liam in place. Whoever, or whatever, was out there, it wasn't something he could handle alone. Suddenly, the rattling stopped. The silence that followed was almost worse than the noise. Neither of them moved. They simply waited, their hearts pounding, unsure of what would happen next.